wasn't really sure if I wasn't really sure if I wanted to continue in IT, but since I'm on this journey now, and in talking to Bennett briefly on yesterday, and receiving some of the knowledge that he was passing out, I think I may be interested in continuing. I just don't know what direction or what field. And he said sometimes help desk may be a good place to start and see what the industry has to offer.
Sure.
So also wanted to just add a little asterisk to that, because I think I mentioned that while help desk is good to start, because it's definitely common for the simple fundamentals of knowing how like ticket queues and just knowing some of the baseline and fundamentals per se. But like I did mention that it's very difficult, not difficult, but I have seen many people get stuck in that type of role with with their employers, because the employers simply wanted them, in that role. So of course, I'm going to always suggest it. I just want to make sure that while you're in that role, if you were to pursue it, of course, while you would be in that role, try to continue learning and taking on other tasks, as that'll help you be more, like that increase the chances, or at least how quickly you'll be able to transition out of that specific role itself. But in addition to the IT help desk, another thing I recommend heavily is just looking at the different areas of cybersecurity, whether it's red team, blue team, purple team, coding. I think it's yellow and green, but I can't remember exactly what those are. I want to say in like orchestration and something else. But either way, you can look into the various fields or positions, and you can try to go that route, as you will have a guiding star, or was it the North Star to guide you?
North Star. Yeah.
But I'll stop so I can let somebody else give their advice as well.
Hey Bennett, can I share this on screen?
Sure. You have the permissions to? You should.
I think so.
Perfect.
That's the domain. That's the cybersecurity domain. If I get an email from you in the chat, I could send it to you. But this is what security architecture, and it's got its multiple avenues or multiple disciplines there. Same thing with career development, with frameworks and standards, also risk management, governance, threat intelligence, user education, and security operations. So, and then up here in the corner right here is really faint. You don't see it, but it's physical security, because physical security is also part of the cybersecurity domain. But this is sort of a layout of what's available today in terms of areas, disciplines, practices, and focuses that you can look at, and then drill down into something something that you're interested in as you get more deeper into your sort of career path. But I can send this to you, Derek. Put your in the chat, and I'll get it from you there. Okay.
Words.
So also one thing that ideally, I want to say there was a time constraint on each person's answers, but of course we want to allow everyone to have a chance to be able to ask their questions and get the advice that they are seeking. So with that said, if there are no, hands raised or people are coming off from mute, I personally am more than fine to continue giving advice, to whoever was the recipient originally, until the next person or other people show that they want to participate into the conversation as well. So.
And I'm all right calling names, like I'm all right doing that. But I know this, I think I've talked to Dr. England, and what he's really trying to pursue and address in the Austin area relative to young people. There's some of that we're doing a reasonable amount of that nationally, and then there's some focus of it in not only in Austin but in San Antonio, where you are, Bennett. So, Dr. England, if you want to voice where you are in your process, now's a good time.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, David, for calling on me. I've been a educator for a long time. Well, let's see, should I say? How old are you, Bennett?
That's the one right now.
Just about as long as you have been alive, Bennett.
That's
Just about.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
26.
Oh my goodness. 33 years this year. As a Black male STEM computer science educator, started as a high school science teacher 33 years ago, teaching physics, and just really now focused on helping our youth outside of school, because I know our schools don't have the capacity, has not had the capacity for a long time to do what's needed to broaden participation. So in the past, we've held a My Brother's Keeper coding maker space here in Austin, focused on young Black and Hispanic males to learn computing and cybersecurity. We had them design IoT devices and partnered with Praetorian to help them secure those devices. And those had to solve a problem in their homeschool or community. And so I continue to look for ways to partner with those who are interested and willing to support diversity in computing, especially in cybersecurity.
Okay. So with what basically with what you said right now, where do you want to go? Or what is the next action step or destination basically?
Well, to reinitiate the My Brother's Keeper coding maker space, that would be our fifth time doing it. In the past year, we focused on AI because I presented, I remember 4 or 5 years ago to this group ISC squared, is it called? I squared. They were meeting at Indeed before Indeed built this big mansion downtown. I remember a large audience and maybe one person expressed an interest in supporting Black youth and Hispanic youth in cybersecurity. So I was dismayed, to say the least, and did not see a lot of interest among those who say there is such a need. So I've mentioned this to David. When we had the meet and greet, there's always this emphasis on how many jobs are available in cybersecurity and people are needed, but yet not the action that's needed to create a diverse pipeline, to put it simply, as far as I have seen here in Austin. And so just really finding like-minded leaders in the cybersecurity world. The CEO at Praetorian, you all may know who he is. He is interested in supporting us with mentors, sending out his cybersecurity specialists to our events. But we cannot have events without sponsorship. And so I've received 2 National Science Foundation awards over the past 5 years. And now I'm looking back at Austin to see if things have changed. And I think it's changed and become even less diverse. And so I don't know where to go. It all depends on whether or not they're, interested people.
Good. Well, I can't speak for many others. However, what I can say is that I actually do have a side business called Cyber Bennett, where I speak to high school and middle school students itself to show them a young professional and inspire them and encourage them to join the field if that's what they want to do, simply because I didn't know this was an option to me. So I'm saying this to say, just you joining the call and telling me where you want to go, it's a mission I support as well, genuinely, because obviously I got Cyber Bennett and then I got Cyversity as well. So I would definitely be in contact just to honestly help the initiative and see, what two collective minds can come up with in addition to, getting more attention regarding it, simply.
Well, that'll be great, yes, because it's as much attention that we can get, the better. I'm going to share a link to our website that summarizes that 2-year project called the My Brother's Keeper Coding Makerspace and some of the work we did around cybersecurity. So I'll put that in the chat window.
All right. Well, thank you. I thank you for your questions, or you don't try to say that, for participation. And so, Jamal, I've seen you have your mic off for some time. Was that intentional as you had a question, or was that a slip? No worries. That's why I don't call on people. But no worries. I'll circle back. Maybe there's a mic issue going on right now. Let me see. Next, I wanted to say call, but at this point, I see that's what we're doing. Jacob, I haven't spoke to you in a couple months, give or take. How you been? Where are you at? And where do you want to go, good sir?
Hey, how you doing, Bennett? I'm currently trying to help my son pedal his pedal bike for the first time. My wife has caught whatever it is that he had this week, so I am juggling a cyber career and a kiddo. Public news going out next week. I'm back with ADP. I'm a director of client security assurance there. So I formally joined our global security organization. I can relate to what you were saying, Dr. Is it Eaglin? Am I saying that right?
Yep, that's it, Eaglin.
Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that, actually, Dr. Eaglin, because well, let me say this first. I'm thankful of what you said a moment ago, Bennett, and the advice that you were giving, just in so much that we have to continuously keep up with our education. I'm a lifelong student. I'm still going to school, hoping to take my CISSP in January, actually. But in any event, that would be my advice too to the young man there in San Antonio. Help desk, knock, that type of stuff. That's where I started. I got a lot of exposure to a lot of different areas of the industry, and it's been really good to me and my family, just in so much of supporting us. I mean, I didn't realize that this was okay. I didn't realize that this was an opportunity that I could take to support myself. So, I highly encourage you to keep at it and to keep educating yourself. And then as a B portion, Dr. England, I'm the board chair here of Next Gen Cyber Talent. It's a startup nonprofit that's based in San Francisco, and we're aimed at helping underprivileged, underserved. We just got a large grant from Night Dragon, and I've been going around the DFW Metroplex trying to identify opportunities to hand out grants for those in need. And I cannot tell you how much, not necessarily resistance I'm having, but almost disinterest in so much as folks not calling us back, or anything like that. And I've reached out to administrators, I've reached out to instructors, and folks just don't seem as inclined to help out. And I can relate because I'm with you. I mean, I was at RSA, and how many times were they talking about not just the talent shortage, but the skills gap that our industry is going through. So I'm having difficulty just trying to, one, make sense of that, and two, solve it. I didn't realize it was going to be this difficult to hand out grants to help people find a job. So anyway, that's what's been going on with me, Bennett. I'm good though. It's good to see you out there. It's good to see all y'all out there.
Okay.
And thanks for tolerating the walk and talk.
No worries. So basically what I'm getting from that is, you're just your main, well, one, congratulations at ADP, of course, on the director role. And two, basically it was more about just trying to further develop the community to be able to, give back in, one initiative or the other, which, seems to, it would say.
Yeah, and something like, more concrete. For instance, let's say that an enterprise decides to make a significant contribution to my nonprofit. And they do so with the understanding that we're going to put 15 people through a cohort. Okay, then go for it. 15 people in a cohort, and they get to actually dictate to us what skills they need in that cohort. And then at the end of the cohort, you know, you've got 10 months of people with skills that have been trained on what that enterprise wanted us to teach them, whether that's, you know, security plus, A plus, stuff like that. And then they come out of the cohort, and you know, there's not any paid gigs, there's not even internships, and it's like, why did you do this in the first place? So I think, you know, I've had this conversation with some folks at the Aspen Institute and CISA, and it seems to be a recurring theme that you hear that there's this problem, and now there's folks out there that are trying to solve it, and they're being met with almost deaf ears. I don't know. I didn't mean for this to turn into a cathartic session. I just wanted to say that I hear you, Dr. Eaglin, and I'm facing the same thing that you are in Dallas-Fort Worth.
All right.
Well, if I could just share one idea, Jason. I learned a long time ago that sometimes we have to go straight to the community and find those organizations, churches, especially in the Black community, to reach our youth. And waiting on the school is not the answer, because you'll wait 33 years like I have. And so I hope that drives the point home. You know, I did spend 21 years working directly in schools and with schools at different levels. But I can now frankly tell you that you have to find another way, and to focus on trying to understand why things don't happen. It's not really helpful. And so organizations like Top Teens of America here in Austin, full of young African American students who are seeking these opportunities. Another one, the Jack and Jill Foundation. So you could find a list, I'm sure, from someone for the Dallas area, and reach those youth and reach those parents directly is what I would suggest.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I think that's about where we are. I've made some connections with some local IT training businesses that are here. Yeah, I think the community, I mean, even so much to your point as going to the churches, that's something I hadn't really considered yet. So appreciate that direction.
All right, appreciate the both of you for your input. So I was going to pass the horn to Jay as the next person.
Hello, everyone. How are you today?
You good, sir?
I am driving, so FYI, if I go dead for about 30 seconds in Houston traffic.
Gotcha.
So I have one question. How should I go about getting a cybersecurity clearance? Well, rather a security clearance, whether it's at the lowest level or something mid. I know top secret would probably be hard to get, but just how do I, what ideas or suggestions would you have for me as a person interested in obtaining a security clearance?
Let me ask this question. Why? Why do you need it? Why do you need a top secret clearance?
Oh, no, I was just throwing out top secret. I was just speaking a clearance in general, so I can get more opportunities in general for cybersecurity in terms of on the government side. Now, I currently don't work for the government. I am a consultant with Deloitte at the moment, and also a cybersecurity mentor through an organization as well.
Okay. I may be wrong, but I think that the lowest security clearance that you can get is the top secret security clearance. And that does apply to any number of agencies, federal or government agencies. Does anybody know of anything below top secret as a security clearance?
I want to say secret.
Sir, he can get a need to know, which would basically give him access to do his job. And above that, he can get a secret clearance, which would give him a little bit more access to certain things also pertaining strictly to his job. Once you get into the top secret and the more classified things, then, you know, it pertains to the upper chain of command.
Sure. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I think what they've identified is two clearance levels below top secret. And I think Derek, do those pertain to government agencies as well? Clearances that you spoke about?
Yes, sir. So what would happen is, say for instance, you applied for a job on USA Jobs and it says it requires a secret clearance. Throughout the application process, you would fill out said paperwork needed, and then the government on their side would run the background checks and things like that. And if anything, you know, weird comes up, then they would contact you and you would have to fill out paperwork to clear those things or, you know, explain those things so that they understand them. As far as getting the clearance, the easiest way is to actually apply for a government job and have them do it all for you. That's the easiest way. And then I know you can do it on your own, but I think you have to go through what's the name of the not Social Security office. There's another department that you have to go through that you can just kind of walk in and fill out the applications, but it's a lot longer and a lot more tedious than if you had the government do it for you.
Right. And you know, I like Derek said, the best way to have this is to have a government job, and then they begin to fill out the forms necessary to apply for that security clearance, and it comes easier because there's a need and there's a requirement in being filled, and you're there, and then you have that opportunity. I've not seen anybody. I personally, and I'm a little bit older than Jacob. I've not seen anybody go through and get a secret clearance of their own volition outside of the military and outside of the federal agencies. I've just not seen it. So it can be, and it's even, and there's some time challenges associated with it in either realm, whether you're going through it privately or whether you're going through it with an agency that you're attached to. And if any one thing comes up, you know, could be a challenge. But look, go hard after it. Don't listen to anything I'm saying. Go hard after it and make your impression there, especially if your background is 100% clean. Go hard after it. And also, I mean, you're with Deloitte. They're attached to a couple of federal contracts. So probably you're looking to, well, let me say what you're looking to do. You just said what you want, and that's where that stops.
All right, thank you. I'll take my route accordingly.
Sure.
All right, happy to help. Well, I didn't do much there, but you know what I'm trying to say. So with us being halfway through, I did want to announce, one of the winners who is on the call. So Jacob, sorry, Dave, you didn't get it this time, but Jacob, you did, sir. And I will be emailing you the voucher code after this meeting. So you should be able to just go on the website and submit it. If you need any additional instructions, I have no problem in doing so, because I did not draft out a how-to document for it in all reality, just full transparency. So, but congratulations.
Hey, thank you kindly. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And so next we can jump down to Dan. Welcome, Dan. And so I saw you come in a little late. So basically what we're doing is, basically just trying to help you with your current job journey or career journey. So in order to do that, we need to know where you currently are and where you would like to be. Oh, he's at work. Okay. Oh, that would have been, all right. Well, since you're at work, are you able to text it, or are you just like completely okay? All right. Well, you can't talk. All right. Oh, you can't text. All right. So go ahead and text it whenever you get the chance, and we can go from there. So while you're doing that, I also would like to just jump a little ahead and also inform you that you are our second winner as well. So again, I'll be sending you the voucher via email, and we can, go accordingly. As you can enter on the website, you get the free conference ticket and go from there. But until then, or until we get your responses, I was going to see if there's anybody we didn't. Derek.
Hey, congrats to you too. Real quick, while we're waiting on the gentleman to type out his stuff on text, I just wanted to say to the gentleman that's working for Deloitte right now, looking for clearance, there's also other government contractors that you can look into. It's basically anyone that has a federal contract right now that requires clearance. They will sponsor that clearance as well. Might be the path of least resistance, but to the point, it's like, I'm not entirely 100% sure because I haven't been through the process myself.
Yeah, I am open to all possible routes for this end goal.
Yeah, like Leidos, Lockheed Martin. I mean, you could probably go on the state website and find out who's bidding on RFPs. And
that's my actually end goal. That is the whole reason why I want to do this. The whole entire reason.
To bid on
contracts.
To bid on contracts.
Yep, that's my end goal.
As an independent contractor and as a entrepreneur, or as part of a larger team. Okay.
Nope, it'll be unless I get some individuals that are interested. If not, so be it.
Yep. Jacob's got a good point. I know I've given references for at least 7 people over the years. 5 of them made it, 2 of them didn't. I think it doesn't matter what they didn't, but it was nothing crazy that they didn't get passed for, or they didn't get. So it's an interesting process, and you'll get some officials. You're going to likely have to give them a couple of references, and those references will either be contacted or visited by an official from any one of the agencies or the government to interview you about your reference to that person trying to get that coverage. So they do go through a reasonable amount of scrutiny to get there. And yes, of course, the cybersecurity matrix is now the standard 1 through 5. So you've got a good point.
Thank you.
You will.
So I also wanted to. Oh wait, hold on. I see Derek's raising his hand. All right,
just go ask for a prize.
No, sir. No, sir. I was simply going to add on to what you guys were saying. As far as if you're looking specifically for military contracts, they're going to do a deep dive into your background, Jay. And if you're looking for just like regular government contracts, it may be a lot easier on that side. But if you're going to do military specific contracts, definitely you're going to need at least 5 references. I do know that. I had to do that process probably about 7 years ago when I was working with Valiant One LLC, and they're a big cybersecurity company, and they also do the flight simulators overseas at the different bases. If you're gonna do military, yeah, make sure your background is clean and make sure your references backgrounds are clean. That's gonna be a big thing because those people have to vouch for you and they're gonna get their backgrounds dug into as well.
Clean hands have to have an even cleaner body, I suppose.
And just get your story straight with
sir.
your people. That's all. Get your story straight. Get it straight and ensure that everyone knows exactly what you're saying. And, you know, they're going to check whatever it is you're saying. So just be crystal clear with the answers that you give, because it's going to matter in terms of your qualifications. It really is.
Also, don't give any unneeded information. You know, like that time you were 16 and you smoked some weed at your friend's birthday party. Like, you don't got to go that deep or anything like that. Just, you know, basic past 10 years is usually what they look at.
Mhm.
Don't go back much further than that is the best advice I can give you. Like I said, make sure that your references have clean backgrounds as well.
Definitely don't tell them about the reefer. That's a definite one. Please do not say that. That will, the ball will drop out of that in a minute.
So, just to make sure I included, you know, not the last, you still got two more, but Dewana, you know, you've been, you know, waiting patiently and quietly over there. I feel like you're in a corner just like taking notes down. So I wanted to, you know, get your participation, of course, and see, you know, where you are and where you would like to go.
I don't have necessarily where I would like to go. I've been doing digital forensic stuff for about 8 or 9 years. So I just recently obtained a certification, working on another one. But right now I don't necessarily have a particular place to go or where I want to go. I just want to learn more is all I can say. I just want to do more, get more certifications and just, so I didn't necessarily like have any questions. I'm just listening.
Okay, yeah, nothing wrong with getting free game, I guess. So that was actually a good transition point. Before I do the transition, I was curious, which certification did you recently get? And congratulations, of course.
Hey, what was that again?
Sorry, I speak fast sometimes. I was saying, which certification did you recently get?
It was for from SANS, and it was C. Hold on. Now they have so many acronyms. It is a GCFE.
The GSAC, yeah.
Mhm.
Why'd you get that one?
GCFE, yeah, okay. Congratulations, that's a
Because,
examiner.
yes, because a lot of the positions that I was applying for was actually asking for that certification.
So it is a career focus sort of thing
Yes.
that yeah. What's the next certification that you're looking at?
I kind of wanted to get more detail about Macs, like the Apple devices.
Why do you like that one? What's the focus
Because
there?
again, in my line of work, you deal with Windows and Apple devices. So I wanted to learn more about the Macs, the ins and outs of Macs. Because I image them and then I also analyze the data from it.
All right. Is there a, I know I heard you say that you're doing forensics today, or at least for like the last 8 or 9 years. And now you're having a discussion about the GSAC and Mac. Is there some place that you're going inside of where you are now, or is there another leap that you're looking at? And that's why these certifications are also of use to you?
Not necessarily. It's just
Cool.
having them under my belt, having that experience, having that knowledge to where if I do want to apply for another position that's requiring that I'll have it, where they're having that focus, I would have that. So again, I'm not like, I guess, a particular, I really like digital forensics. So I just want to stay in that and just learn all I can.
Okay, now you speak my language, actually. That's actually my passion, so I'll definitely be reaching out in regards to that. But that's a great transition to another statement. Give me 1 second to pull it up so I can have it correctly. So basically, Dan was saying that he's currently a security analyst at TrustWave, and that's in Chicago. He resides in Houston. Shout out to Houston. but he wants to become a threat hunter. So, Dawana, with your experience thus far, what is some of the key advice that you would say you've seen people do in terms of becoming a threat hunter from a security, what did I say? Sorry, analyst perspective? Yes.
I'm not familiar with the threat hunter at all, so.
Okay, no worries. All right, so I let Dave, somebody else, answer the question as well. But basically, one of the things I can recommend is set your security analyst. So I was a cybersecurity analyst at PwC, and with forensics being a passion of mine, I ended up going into SOC roles because that was the next step to get to the threat hunter. Ideally, I want to be a threat hunter because while forensics was and is my passion, I had more experience, just doing threat hunting itself using SIMS in my work experience. And with me enjoying those investigations, I wanted to do that more full time because personally, I like going and looking at the data to find the anomalies and what's going on, opposed to getting alerts that was incredibly, I won't say boring, but the likelihood of them being a false positive was incredibly high. So threat hunter was my next nearsighted goal, while my 5-year plan was forensics or forensic manager. And I could say personally, me being a SOC analyst definitely opened up a new world of different investigations that I enjoyed thoroughly. So I can't speak exactly with what you do at TrustWave, but compared to my experience as a cybersecurity analyst, it definitely proved helpful. Of course, the main thing that they get as a wrap for those positions, SOC positions, is nights and weekends. But I was also able to negotiate my way out of doing nights and weekends. My manager doesn't like that, but that's not the point. The point is that I would definitely recommend SOC roles in alignment with your time commitment and whatnot as a good point. And then Jay just mentioned endpoint security would be useful. Agreed 1,000%. As a SOC analyst, I specifically do endpoint investigations, endpoint identity, some network, but endpoints is my preferred ones. So just another way for you to, take that next step in your threat hunter pursuits.
I'll add something because it might not necessarily the best route, in my opinion, well, an optional route, maybe not the best, but I'll use the word optional. Maybe not to focus on Mac architecture itself, but just Linux and Unix, which is what Mac OS is built from, Unix. So, if you understand that, then Mac is just a different flavor. So that's pretty much what it was going to come down to, the architecture of Linux and Unix.
You guys consider the threat hunter to be a entry level, mid-level, advanced level? What's the characterization there, or the categorization?
I would categorize it as a mid-level, because you definitely need years of experience. As I'm looking at these threat hunter positions myself, many require, a couple of years ago, it was 3 to 5 for mid-level, even senior level roles. But now it's, 5 or more, because of course, in cybersecurity, the goal line is always moving, unfortunately. So overall though, the amount of expectations and duties that they expect you to have, definitely more mid-level. Unless, you're able to get certain certifications that can supplement it to show that you've got that experience and just need that practical work. Definitely, but many say about 4 to 5 years as a minimum. But the money's fire, definitely.
And that when you say the certificate, which I think what you're saying, you may be saying, is that the certification helps provide the fact that this field, but still you have to have hands-on practical expertise in order to really. And the certification doesn't necessarily give you that, or does it?
Correct. Basically, I was saying it's a good supplement for some of the years of experience. I'm not going to say, it's not possible, because, anything's possible realistically.
Anything's possible.
But despite how difficult it is to get a entry-level position as just a SOC or whatever position you may be looking at, threat hunters specifically, they require like a deeper understanding of everything in regards of the inner workings of operating systems, network traffic, OSI models, of course, other things as well, which is why I mentioned like the certifications could be helpful. I mean, not could be, they would be helpful, but it wouldn't be as impactful coming as like entry level as it would for a different position that is more open to the entry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was just looking at cyberseek.org while you guys were talking, just looking at the career path migration, or maturation, how you go from these feeder roles in networking and software development and so forth and so on, and into entry-level roles and into mid-level roles and advanced level roles. So there's a path there, especially the threat hunting. And what I understand about threat hunting is, just from the role that I play in all of this cybersecurity from a people point of view, is that, you got to think the way they think, because how a person is thinking on breaking and cracking into or creating some intrusion into a network, you must think the way they think. And I'm not saying you got to be a criminal or anything of that nature, but you do have to study the approaches, the multiplicity of approaches that they use to intrude into an environment and obfuscate away with some data or something that they need desperately. And most threat hunters, the good ones, they'll lay in your place for a year or 6 months to a year. They'll just sit there and wait until the time is right. And so finding them, because they find themselves in the best places to be undetected, really says that you need to know the environment and how the environment has been laid out and how it's been configured, and know your way around that. It's almost like being a software engineer to understand how software is being
compiled.
Yeah, configured, compiled, developed, and also I'm thinking of a word that means just excuse me, but it's really being utilized in a negative way. So you got to know your stuff, and certifications help you know how. Spending some time behind the keyboard in the console, understanding exactly how these applications and devices work, what they're for, gives you an opportunity to be really clear about why somebody would even go there to steal what there. What is it there? Just got to understand that mindset.
Right, because even in what's like in comparison to SOC work, SOCs, the alerts come to us. For threat hunting, you have to go find it. So realistically speaking, whatever it is that you are trying to find, whether it's an anomaly or whatnot, it's going to be obfuscating an amount of a lot of data itself, and it's going to be harder to find, because if it was easier to find, the security tools would have been found it and flagged it, let the SOC analysts know. So if it was able to avoid those detections, that's another reason why such depth is needed for threat hunter roles. But yeah, and Jay, I don't think we got to you yet.
Go get it. There's money there. If that's your goal, but yes, it's lucrative.
So Jay, good sir. Well, I actually saw Jamal came back as well, but well, I guess Jay first. So where are you at, and where you would like to go?
As far as myself, where I like to go, well, that depends on the time frame. So I have many different places I'm gonna go, but it all depends on the time frame. I would say in 2 years, at least a solid 2 years, under 3, definitely looking to be a manager, more focused on cloud security, architecture, design, compliance, because it's never just one thing, right? It's 1,000 bullet points, and you're doing one of those thousands once every win, basically. So that's what I'm looking for in the next 2 years. As far as the other next 2 years, government contracting for security contracts. So two things for, my own goal, entrepreneurial purposes. So that's on the other end. The next 5, looking to be a CISO, or rather a CEO. That's what I'm really looking to do, to be a CEO of my own company in some cloud cybersecurity specification. Now, I haven't sat down and written exactly what area specifically, because as of, at this time, everything connects back to the cloud. So that's why we have, all these different on-premise and backup solutions and things we're going to decide to migrate to the cloud, develop in the cloud versus having on-premise. And even I got wind of something about automotive security, which I know a lot of organizations are not looking into, because, that's more focused for consumers specific. But when you think about it, everyone's driving a car or driving something. And then, you hear about cars being hacked and people think it's only in movies and TV shows. No, that's real. It's every day. Even when you hear about Kias and Hyundai's been stolen. Why it's been stolen? Because it only takes 60 seconds to steal a Kia and a Hyundai. I've seen it. Probably because I'm from Milwaukee. I don't know if you guys heard about the Kia boys, but that's where it started there. It started in Milwaukee. And how I know about it, because I'm from Milwaukee. But literally, it takes 60 seconds to steal a Kia or Hyundai. That's it. Even so much, this is on a different note. Hyundai is just trying to, place blame on the consumers, or just place blame so they won't have to, get a lawsuit and things like that. But it all comes back down to automotive security. So I'm just thinking that's an area for folks to look in as far as something niche right now, but it's going to be every day when you think about autonomous vehicles as a whole. We got self-driving cars and stuff like that. You hear about the incidents every blue moon when a self-driving car managed to, run a person over, things like that. That all comes down to security to some degree. And also in the same breath as AI security, which is still, AI and ML security. If the cars are self-driving, that means they're using, artificial intelligence. So it's security on both fronts. You're both tied in from an automotive perspective. So that might be something I might focus on in business later down the line. But currently at this moment, cloud security is what I've been doing, learning, spending my time in, whether it's mostly AWS by default, because everyone gets started in AWS cloud for the most part, unless maybe the last year then you started to figure out, hey, maybe I should go to GCP or Azure. Probably because it's easy. You could just do it hands-on, spin up a lab and get to it.
Right. Okay. So you gave me like 3-4 different answers about the future, but I don't think I heard you say where you're at currently. Obviously.
Oh yeah, I'm the one at Deloitte currently as a consultant. I'm a cybersecurity advisor consultant. Yeah. I was wondering, like, how is it coming back to me again?
Yeah. My apologies. Dave, you think about to say something?
No, I was just laughing at just laughing. But hey, Jay, the future with autonomous cars and security there, it is being addressed. These manufacturers, like the ones here in Texas, like Toyota, have built in. Well, Toyota is better than most because they've only built in a 10% failure rate. They already know that 10% of their stuff is going to fail.
Planet.
The other manufacturers have a 20% defect or a 20% fallback rate. So they know that you're going to get 20%, and they built it into the car's price in the first place. So they're not losing a dime on going through those kinds of challenges. But to your point, for sure, it's not enough emphasis placed on how cars that are able to be hacked so quickly. Are you saying that Kias and Hyundais are able to be hacked, or they're able to be broken into? Or is that somewhat the same thing?
Well, to some degree, you can bypass the security system by literally like knocking out the back window. You can start the car up and drive off. No matter how they, you can still break in and steal whatever, use a screwdriver, the same classic ways, but you can bypass the security mechanisms by knocking out the back window. Because what happened is the alarm doesn't go off.
It's so crazy.
And I even seen a video today on the socials where this girl recovered her car. I don't know exactly what city she was in, but she recovered her car. The console was all torn up and ripped up. But the thieves had used the USB stuck in the ignition. It was as simple as that. So you can look it up, like Kia car theft. It became a national problem because it started in one specific city, unfortunately. But what you had mentioned about Toyota, Woven Planet. I do know about Toyota and Woven Planet and the old smart factory city that they're building out, the new Toyota, well, not the new Toyota, the old Toyota manufacturer in Japan.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to close up soon, so y'all know. But Derek, I see you got a question. Good service. What is the question? I'm sorry.
I just wanted to add on to what David was saying about Toyota, and in reference to what Jay was saying as well. Just recently, like I told you guys, I moved back here to San Antonio in June from Japan. Toyota is actually in research and development right now to add biometrics to start the car and things like that. You may want to do a little bit of research on that, because that could be a field that could be very lucrative in the future. And as far as I know, Toyota is one of the only companies right now outside of Tesla that is actually working on adding biometrics into their automotive security fronts. And that's all I had, Bennett.
Yeah,
Okay.
I end up speaking with some of the workers there from a Black is Tech event. That's how I end up learning about Woven Planet.
Okay. Well, look, nothing wrong with kicking knowledge to one another either. So honestly, I can say I learned something new myself, just learned about that, because I actually have seen a researcher break into a car, hack a car back in 2016, as he did it. He presented on it back at B-Sides back in St. Louis, shout out to the Midwest. So I know they have done it, but I've yet heard about, I heard about Kia Boys too, because of St. Louis, but I didn't know they were targeted specifically as a security vulnerability. So that's interesting, honestly. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, but I say that to say, don't get a Kia. So that's the other thing, dude. Be cautious of why people have those, but that's bias, but the bias is based on what's literally going on in real life. So
okay, and this webinar is not sponsored by any car vendors.
And Jay's opinion is his own.
My own, my very own is my IP.
Speaking for Deloitte.
But yeah, so I did ping Jamal, just asking him if there's any questions he had. He did say no. So if there are not any other questions, I'm gonna give it like a second to see before I say that. Are there any other questions from anybody? Any comments, concerns, etc.?
Yes. I hope I'm not the last question, but
You are.
excuse me.
Damn, D. Damn.
Go for it.
First, I want to thank Bennett and David. You guys do so much educational knowledge coming at me right now, and I really appreciate it's giving me a lot to do research on. But my last question was, I guess for Bennett, within this area, as far as San Antonio, do you have any tidbits or any information as far as what the job market looks like for somebody with an entry level cybersecurity certification outside of help desk?
Of course. So I actually moved here because I was entry level. So I moved when I graduated from college, and I had to jumpstart my career. It's not as okay. So basically, there's three active bases currently in San Antonio. So the amount of opportunity is slightly limited due to the amount of military professionals here, which is reality. So if you're looking for a local one and don't mind being underpaid, emphasis on the under part.
Like I said, I've worked with the military before. I'm prior military myself. So, working with the military is totally okay with that. Not necessarily saying I won't go private sector, but you know, I would preferably like to go where the money is, because as a flight simulator tech, I was making about 65K a year overseas, and coming here, I noticed that that pay significantly drops for a simulator technician here. It drops to about 42 to 45, depending on your experience, and which is kind of why, like I said, I'm back in school now. Because these certifications will hopefully in the near future, get me back up to that 50, 60, 70K range.
Of course. So I would also recommend looking into AFCEA, mainly because it's like AFCEA. And basically what that is, just to paraphrase, I found out about them last month due to a networking event, but interlocal, obviously. So actually there's one, I want to say in December, I can follow up with you on that on a side note, just to give you that information. But basically it's a cybersecurity Air Force or other military branches organization that probably will be a good resource for you, especially as you are trying to continue building out your local community. So they would be able to help you a little bit more better, at least regards to opportunities in the military, because unfortunately I am experienced in the private side or civilian side, as they call it, or y'all call it. But either way, is there opportunity here? Yes. And with you having that clearance, you are more than marketable to get those opportunities that those of us have not had. So leverage that and you're golden. But again, like I said, I can send you some more information about the organization after the call. That way we can make it more applicable to you specifically.
That sounds great. I really appreciate that.
That's the wrong email. Hey, Derek, if you are okay with sharing your resume or what have you with us, I'm going to put my correct email address in the chat box, and if you could send me your resume, that'll be great.
Sure.
And I will check back, and I'll check back with you, and we'll have a conversation about the direction.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, Cyversity is also trying to have a more prominent footing in getting opportunities or connecting not employees, but connecting professionals with employers and opportunities. So it's a slow but steady, initiative, but we're still working on getting that going for everybody. So with that said, I'll close out by saying thank you everyone for joining our meeting, and I hope you was able to find the time valuable and beneficial to you and your career journey.
We didn't even hear from Lucy.
We didn't. I was going to mention that, but I assume she just wanted to be in the back end as she's on the board.
I'm going, hey, Lucy.
There I am.
How are you there?
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, you're the real person. Not recording.
I just wanted to say you guys did a great job. You guys did a great job, of informing everybody. I'm just happy I'm like a sponge. I'm just soaking it all in. But I did connect with Dan and Jay as they're in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to connect with them outside of here to see if we can do some more connecting, and of course involve Jason as well. So I just wanted to say, if there's anybody in Houston, anybody else in Houston, please, I'll share my email in the chat so that you can let me know you're in Houston and we can do something.
Perfect. Yep, we're trying to get our local events to each city. So Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, and Houston. So be on the lookout for those, hopefully in the near future, and we can go from there. Nonetheless, thank you everyone for your time. Like I said, I hope it was very beneficial to you, and get you on the next one.
I shared that link with you, Bennett. Did you see that?
I did not.
The My Brothers Keeper Coding Makerspace on computing and cybersecurity.
Yep, I see it. So instead of ending it and it kicking everybody out, I'll just let y'all leave. That way, if you have links or LinkedIn profiles that you want to drop, you can do that as well. So I can stop the recording here.
Hey, thanks for leading us tonight, Bennett.
Of course.
Thanks.
No doubt.
Thank you.